Welcome to a brand new episode of the Post Game. I am your host, Davion. Today I'm back with Lillian,
What's up?
Matt,
What up?
and Oronde.
What's poppin'?
How we doing?
I'm tired. Even though I didn't work today, I'm tired.
Ah, lazy. That's what that
I'm
sounds
Well,
like.
tired.
I took the kittens to the vet this morning. It was a lot of work.
Oh, God, me to sleep. Get dogs, man.
Not yet.
I'm kidding. But hey, today we are back with our first NFL video of the season as a group. Today we are talking. The question of the day is: should Bryce Young have gotten benched? As we have a residential Panthers fan here, we're gonna let Matt. We're gonna let you start. Like, how do you feel about this benching of Bryce Young? Should it have happened? Are you upset?
I have a lot to say about this. Okay.
Go
So
off.
I might, and I apologize. I'll just start with this. Bryce has not been good, and I will just say that. Okay. He's been bad. Watching the games, those first two games, he looked horrible. I don't think he even threw for over 150 yards passing. QBR of God knows what. He just doesn't look good. He looks scared. His confidence is shot. Nothing is going right, which to me is sad to say because they did all of this to give him the support and give him, weapons and an O line and a potential running game if Jonathan Brooks plays this year, to be successful. But they have not done anything or it has not worked. The main reason to me it hasn't worked is because of Dave Tepper. He is a terrible owner. He might be the worst owner in the league. He probably is the worst owner in the league. Going back to trading for Sam Darnold for a second and third round pick, one of those picks ended up being Brees Hall. They do that massive trade with the Bears. Now the Bears have four starters and Caleb Williams. Obviously, Caleb doesn't look good, but he's a rookie. He'll be fine. Um, he just doesn't understand how a rebuild works. And he tries to do things to rush success, and you can't do that in the NFL. There's just too many pieces, there's too many problems. You're basically just going backwards, and it's going to be worse and worse if they keep doing this. So, do I think he should have been benched? Honestly, I'm fine with the benching. What I hope they do is they just sit him for the whole year, just
Wow.
let him take time, give him one more year, and if he's doing the same exact things, I think you just cut him or just do something with him. Just because I don't know what you can do. So that's my rant.
Yeah, I think when I look at the Carolina Panthers and Bryce Young and David Tepper, my biggest thing is that, and this is with just teams all over the NFL, and it's happened for so long, is that teams don't know how to commit to a rebuild. Like when they are in rebuild phase, they won't just realize that, hey, we aren't good enough to succeed here right now. So we need to like take a step back and rebuild. They just won't want to commit to it. And it doesn't make sense to me because time in and time out, like look what happened in Houston. They realized that they were bad. They had a rebuild. They went and got a brand new head coach. They went and got a brand new GM. They went and got brand new quarterback, defense, plain and simple. They went and got everything brand new and committed to their rebuild. And now they're just a better football team. And they just look all of that. So I think what the Panthers need to do is just commit to this rebuild and realize that they're going to be bad this season, maybe even next season or
They're
whatever.
probably going to be bad for a few years. I
Yeah,
think
they're going to be bad, and they just need to realize that and go from there because just wasting time and putting a really bad team on the field right now, and it just isn't good enough. And I don't
And
think that's what Carolina Panthers fans deserve.
I'll say this too with Bryce. Forcing three new coaches on him in a year is ridiculous. You should not, no God-given quarterback should feel that or have that pain of having to know all these different schemes, cadences, different, formations. Like it's literally impossible. Like that's another thing too with Tepper is the problem because he's like, oh,
Hires and
yep,
hires.
higher, 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 and it doesn't work. And honestly, I think the only reason that Canales benched him is because Tepper told him to, and he's
Yep.
like, I don't want to lose my job. So obviously, Canales hasn't been good, It's been 2 games. There could be some potential changes, but this is going to be the biggest question. If the Panthers still look the same or worse with Andy Dalton, it is the roster. The team just sucks.
Mm-hmm.
If Andy Dalton can win them a few games and they drastically improve, then it's Bryce. So that's the thing. And I don't know if most likely they'll probably just go and draft another QB next year, which I wouldn't be surprised about. But again, I would like to just, bench him for the season, just let him develop, give him time, and then hopefully come back. But I don't know. So
Piggybacking off of what you said about coaching, I watched Mac Jones come on the scene from the Bama offense come into the NFL, pop off a little bit, and then struggle the rest of the time that he was with New England, going through different coaching regimes as well. Now, obviously, he ended up in Jacksonville as a backup, which is probably the path for Bryce if they screw up the rest of his development. He only had 18 games to play, 17.
17. He got benched. Yeah, 17 total games he's played.
That's crazy. That's not enough time.
Not. So
Daniel Jones has been playing for what? How many seasons
5
now?
years.
That's they gave him plenty of chances.
Yeah,
At
and
least
he's
that organization at least let him try. Now, obviously, they backed him a little bit too much, in my opinion. Sorry, Giants fans. I thought he was cool in college, not as what they're building up to him to be now. Anyways, they like everybody else will be saying in the media as well as us, the organization has failed Bryce already. Now, obviously, they didn't really have Canales and company didn't really have the ties to Bryce, so I understand that they would rather just move on from him than try to keep him
right.
around. But it's still not quite fair. Fair might not even be the right word, but you could have handled it a little bit better. Another thing, I don't really know how to say it. I he has the right tools to be good. I just don't know if he's got the yips. He might just have the yips. He might just be a
Yeah,
he
his
might just have the
confidence is
yips.
definitely shot. And I'll say this too: when it came to drafting him, the coaches wanted Stroud, and then Tepper's wife's like, "No, let's get Bryce. He's a cool guy." Okay, that doesn't matter. Like, sorry, Bryce is a good dude. I respect him, but if you want to win football games, go get your guy. And they should have gotten Stroud. Do I think he would have been as good as he is in Houston? Probably not. I think it would have been the same situation, but I think they would be a little better because I just think Stroud's more talented. But who knows? So it's just gonna be a long year, and I'm not ready for it.
So here's a
Yeah,
question.
I mean,
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Go
like
ahead.
piggyback, like especially like as far as Tepper's concerned, I don't think I've ever seen an owner have so little patience.
That's exactly
Mm.
it.
He will sign a guy, he'll draft somebody, and if they aren't top 5 in the league
In a year.
in 5 games, he gives up on them. And like, yeah, Bryce has not looked good the first 2 weeks, but at the same time, his wide receiver one is Deontay Johnson. That's not a wide receiver one. He doesn't have a tight end. His O line is a bunch of overpaid guys.
I will say this too. I
Like,
saw a stat. He had what was it? Out of 30 snaps last week, he only had 4 pressures.
Or is those actual pressures?
Yes,
yeah,
actual
here's
Yeah,
what I'll
pressure.
say
I
is
saw
that
that too.
I saw that tweet and I never saw a source for it. Like I've not seen anybody else say that.
Because I watched the second half of that game, especially mostly the fourth quarter, because I was flipping between other games that were actually good. But if there was only 4 pressures, what the hell was the fourth quarter? Because they were all over that man.
Like
The pocket was collapsing all the time.
I mean,
Now they even gave who is it? Their right guard Robert Hunt and their right tackle Taylor Moton over 70 points for their PFF grades. Yet they didn't allow a single pressure.
and
How
also what most teams are doing is they're just sending all out blitzes because Bryce doesn't know what to do with the,
Mm-hmm.
and then he doesn't like his mechanics are just so off.
which we'll get to that. The Minnesota did that to the Mr. Purdy, and it was not pretty.
Right. Like
Purdy when he only has 5 Pro Bowlers instead of 6s.
Show some respect.
Fucking Bryce
Show
Young.
some respect.
Show some respect for what? That fucking Super Bowl loser? What?
Your team just lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Relax.
Yes, we did. We
Put
did.
some
But
respect
here,
on Baker,
but
who
I would
played
say
better.
this. I
I
would say
mean that the Bucks are a good team,
I
but
would say this about Bryce Young and this Panthers team. I think like Tepper, even with Charlotte FC, his soccer team that he owns, he's the same exact way. He's very high maintenance, win now type thing. And it's like that's not how sports are, plain and simple, for one. And for two, like, this is something you guys talked to us about a little bit. But do the Panthers draft a quarterback this upcoming season?
They shouldn't,
I don't think they should, but they will. Like
I
I
mean,
just
because
I expect to
the
see.
upcoming prospects are
I think like Cam Ward probably ends up there.
it'll be like a Cam Ward or Ewers, maybe. But like to me, I think you got to give him more time. But I could see Tepper's ass just being like, "Yep, let's ship him off for a third round pick or something." And I'm
Yeah.
like, "What is the point of that?"
I
There's
mean, at the end of the day, I'm so slow to blame a quarterback in a Carolina offense because we have seen Sam Darnold now. We've seen Baker lead a team to the playoffs. I I'm so because is it really a quarterback's fault if every time that quarterback
No.
leads to a better situation they play well?
Carolina. It is the team. It is the ownership. It will always be the ownership till that man dies. I
And
can't stand him.
All right. Well, listen, leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think about the Carolina Panthers and Bryce Young, and what do you actually think is going to happen to him. Y'all are saying trade potentially. Does he play at all this upcoming for the rest of the season or no?
I feel like he'll probably come back in towards the middle end of the season, if anything.
It really depends
On how what's his face looks?
I think
Yeah.
if there's no improvement whatsoever,
Yeah.
they'll put him back in. But if they're actually like good with Dalton, then they'll just let him sit and just, which I'm fine with, because you literally spent 2 years worth of draft capital for this guy. He has to be your franchise. No ifs, ands, or buts. If he sucks, he sucks. Okay, but like you can't just give up on him this early. So
All right. Well, Matt has spoken. Well, appreciate y'all for listening. If you got this far, leave a comment, like, subscribe down below in the comments. I'm excited to see what you have to say about Bryce Young and if he is going to continue in Carolina or even if he's going to continue in the NFL at all. But I've been your host, Davion. This has been the rest. This has been post game. Peace.
Peace.
oh.